Hi, welcome to part 4 of the CANOE build. Now I've built this curve network, and as you can see I'm testing my curves. They all have the same character, and here this is a draft helper surface, so here is the actual keel, and as you see when the hull comes down to the keel it curves this way. Okay, so you get an inflection point there, and you get the comb on the other side of the curve, but in this case it's an intended inflection to give a kind of keel shape to the bottom of the canoe. And we've got a little bit of an inflection at the top here, which is not ideal. I'm going to delete those curvature combs with L on my keyboard. Now you notice that I've lined my CVs up on these curves very accurately. That's really important if you want to build good surfaces, to be very precise how you align your CVs. Okay, let's build this skin surface, degree 5 by degree 4. Everything is degree 5 by degree 4. The draft surfaces, and in this direction, and the curves. We're going to connect ends. We want single surface, open topology, and that's it, we're ready to go. So you can pick the first two curves and then push down the shift key, keep it held down, and left mouse button. Develop the surface by clicking on consecutive curves. Right, so that's the surface. It looks okay, doesn't it? But if I put on some evaluation, well, actually it's not looking too at all. Let's put on this, and you can see that our curvature is even. So we've got a lot of curvature here, and it's less curved at this part, you know, the underneath the boat, as you would expect. And then as we come to the keel, we've got an inflection, so we see a flatter surface. Now let's turn on the CV hulls, and we might be in for a bit of a shock. Actually they're okay, but believe me, if we hadn't have built this surface with the same parameterization as the draft surfaces, the hulls would have been all over the place. So let me just show you exactly what I mean. I'm going to put the controls on the draft helper surface, and we'll see here that it's degree 5 by 4 in this direction, and it's degree 2 by 1 in that direction. Pick surface, and we'll take the other surface, the other half helper surface, and that's degree 5 by 5. So let's demote that to degree 5 by 4 and hit accept down the bottom. Pick nothing, and just see if that has not had an adverse effect, so we're going to live with that. We're in back view now, so let's have a look at this inflection we've got here, and also there we've got something happening there, so association with the surfaces. So we're going to align the surface with the draft surface. Just check that your hulls haven't gone out of control. That's better. Let's have a look now at the effect that it's had on our shape of our hull. We would expect that top part of the freeboard to be vertical. Okay, now I'm going to try to move along the middle row. Right, so that's where we're going to get our results, on that middle row. Okay, so I think that I'm happy with that. So I'm using the helper surface, the draft surface, to drive. But let's align our skin surface to our draft surface, and there we are. Now, so I'm going to pick blend there, and I'm going to add one extra row of CVs into the computation, and perhaps 2 extra rows. Okay, and then I'm going to hit accept, and I'm hoping that that's about it. So what I'll do is I'll hide those, so it's just I invisible on the keyboard. And now let's turn off the controls. Okay, we get rid of the curves and hide them, and then we can better evaluate the quality of our modeling. And you see I've got this little dip here, which is a little inflection, which is what I want, you know, the shape of the keel. I've checked that I'm within this bounding box. That's very important that we don't go outside the spec, which is the overall length, width and height. Assign it, put on layer symmetry. So that's the final shape of our hull, and that's the shape that we would show to the, with the curvature evaluation shader on. I'm using Prince Max, and it shows us quite clearly which way our surfaces are curving and whether they're consistent. It's looking quite nice. This is where the inflection is. So yes, I'm happy with that. Now, one last thing. You see we've got this nice sharp keel, which will give the CANOE straight line stability. We don't actually need positional contact there, but let's see if we do have it. And no, we don't. What I would do there is I would run a tubular offset tool along there, intersect it, make sure that you've got curves on the surface on both sides, and then trim it out and run a freeform blend down there. I'm presenting this as a sharp model, so I think I want positional contact there, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Start. So I've moved a few CVs randomly just to make it a little bit more spectacular, and I've got this CV unselected, so I'm going to hover my mouse button there, and I'm going to push the control key and the right mouse button, and as you see they all snap into line. Now they are perfectly on the origin, so we would expect when we put on layer symmetry, sometimes when you turn on layer symmetry that's not the case. So let's put layer symmetry on, and let's just test, see whether we in fact do have positional continuity there, and we do. So that's okay. Construction options, and we'll go to CATIA V5, which we all know is pretty severe, and there we have positional continuity there. Turn the curves on, which is V for visible, and there they are, and you can see that they are very, very harmonic. You know, that time that you take to do that, you know, it just makes your life so much easier. And then this draft helper surface, which initially was compliant to that key line curve, I put in that curvature in order to give me the shape of the hull that I wanted here. This tutorial has been all about how to control a class C surface to create a shape which in fact is difficult to create, because the golden rule in Alias is not to make a surface do too much work, and we've actually made this surface curve this way, and have an inflection in there. It's not one of our powerful surfacing tools, it's the skin surface tool. We've done a lot of direct modeling. We've used draft surfaces in order to control the form of the hull. The main reason that I am publishing this tutorial is that I want to help designers who have a vivid imagination and who are perhaps working on space vehicles with original and very creative volumes to build, you know, quickly. With this type of modeling you can build a lot quicker. Whatever you're building, it's not likely to be quite as complicated as a CANOE hull, because that is a difficult shape. The principles apply to whatever you're modeling. It doesn't matter whether it's a square surface, a bi-rail surface, a skin surface. All it boils down to is a lot of zeros and ones, The difference is when you get it right, the zeros and ones are in the right places. When you get it wrong, they're all over the place, and so your surface is all over the place. So I hope that you have really enjoyed this tutorial and that you'll go away and practice. I'll probably get time to make a video to show you how to complete this part, but it is fairly simple, so don't get too worried about that. Okay, so thank you once again for your time, and see you next time. Bye.